I now request our Chief Guest, Honorable Vice President of India, to kindly address us.
Good evening, all of you. I feel like being a student here. And as a student, you can trust me. The experience that I've gained as Chairman Rajya Sabha, we'll be discussing how best to make Parliament productive. Honorable Governor of Maharashtra, Sri Ramesh Bais, his sweet, short, impactful address reveals his huge experience, a member of Lok Sabha for 7 terms, a union minister, a constitutional functionary. He handled a department in the union government which is connected with your core strength also. He was Minister of Steel and is gifted with a steel frame. Professor S. Sudarshan, well, we have presence of your director, Subhashji, virtually. And I'm sure there will be another occasion to visit this institute when he'll also be present. Sudarshanji, mild, modest, but very incisive. In the shortest possible time, he has translated your activities, their impactful contribution to societal growth. Am I audible? Good. But he said, the big change came in 1990s. Incidentally, from 89 to 91, I was a member of Lok Sabha. And in 90, I was a union minister. But two are not interconnected, but it's coincidental. He did make reference to biology being one of your strengths. I had the occasion to use the term when I visited my alma mater, Sainik School, Chittorgarh. And there, my dear boys and girls, what I reflected, I was born in village Kitana. That was my biological birth. My real birth was in Sainik School, Chittorgarh, and yours is in IIT Bombay. I wonder for a long time, in an age where we are doing much to be gender neutral, empowering our women, why do we call it bachelor's courses? Time for us to think inside, bring about a change. World has changed. Let us help the other gender. I'm talking about my gender. Otherwise, the other gender has the capacity, potential, and effectiveness to change it for us. Professor K.V.K. Rao, Deputy Director. Sri Sunil Kumar Gupta is an IAS officer of 1987 batch, a very senior IAS officer. He is Secretary to Vice President of India, but carries a hat which matters to you all. He is from IIT Kanpur. I had the benefit of his counsel when I was Governor State of West Bengal. That means a lot. Governor State of West Bengal. He was Secretary to Governor. His wise counsel, his farsightedness, his collaborative stance, his capacity to avoid anything which is adversarial, and there was slight tilt towards the government always. But that does happen with IAS officers. But majorly he can owe it to the training he got in IIT Kanpur. I enormously benefited out of it in my 2 constitutional positions as governor and now as vice president. Distinguished members of the faculty, an institution is known only by the faculty. Infrastructure is essential. It is not cutting edge. Faculty's involvement, faculty's stature, faculty's commitment, they constitute the core value of an institution. You in IIT Bombay are lucky to have a faculty which is enormously respected in the world also. Friends, I can say beyond doubt, I feel surcharged. I have been to IIT Madras, IIT Guwahati, IIT Delhi. Your director is from IIT Delhi. Am I right? I have been to IIT Roorkee also, Kharagpur also. Roorkee became an IIT much later. It was an engineering college earlier. I can tell you every visit to an IIT inspires me, motivates me, surcharges me for one good reason. And let me tell you directly. This house at the moment has human resource with capacity to change the world. You are not individuals. You work in tandem and togetherness for society to make lives of everyone easy. You engage in research and innovation. Therefore, to be exposed to such young talent, a talent that matters to the entire humanity, not only Bharat. And therefore, the choice of the subject, role of youth in nation building, could not be more appropriate. Youth have, according to me, the most significant role in nation building. India is known for demographic dividend, which means the dividend that is before me. You are the greatest, most significant stakeholders in governance. You will have to carry future on your shoulders. And therefore, your spinal strength matters. And I have no doubt, I am not a medical specialist, but I know enough about spine. You all are spinally very strong, and the nation is safe in your hands, and I have no doubt you will take the nation, Bharat at 2047, gloriously as a developed nation of the world. You are the embodiment of grit, determination, and hard work, engaged in continually fructifying your motto, knowledge is the supreme goal. I would add only one thing. This supreme goal is supreme power these days. Knowledge alone defines where you are in the world, be it an individual, an organization, an institution, industry, or a nation. A nation that is emanating knowledge to the entire world will have a power of its own. And knowledge, my dear friends, is the greatest deterrence to those who seek to compromise either the individual or the nation. Congratulations to the distinguished faculty and my dear students. 2023 marks the 4th consecutive year that IIT Bombay has secured the top position nationally in the QS World University Rankings. The expectation that emanated, I have no doubt, will fructify because you are in action mode. IIT Bombay alumni have made remarkable contributions in the progress of the nation. There are many. However, illustratively, the list is very long. One cannot be exhaustive. They are impacting every part of the globe. But I'll make reference to some. Mr. K. Sivam, former chairman ISRO. Mr. Manohar Parrikar, we lost him early. During his short tenure as defense minister, he left his impact. He reflected real virtuosity and sublimity of IIT all throughout. Mr. Jairam Ramesh, a good friend of mine for decades, is a very distinguished member of Rajya Sabha. His counsel to me in the chamber is always rewarding for me, though it is slightly different when the house is in session. But that's between me and him. Mr. Parag Agrawal, former CEO of Twitter, now of course different format for Twitter. Mr. Nandan Nilekani, former chairman Infosys, Professor Rangan Banerjee, director IIT Delhi, had the occasion to meet him. Professor Suhas Joshi, director IIT Indore, Mr. Ashish Chauhan, CEO, National Stock Exchange, Mr. Raj Subramaniam, CEO, FedEx, and many more. The list will be endless. Like your distinguished alumni who have made difference to the world, you all are bound to make impactful, great difference to the world by dint of your hard work, your capacity to engage in research, and your urge to take this nation to great heights. I see, my dear boys and girls, in you and in your eyes, destiny of Bharat. No one can craft destiny of Bharat more effectively than the people present before me. Because if we need good governance, if we have to be on incremental trajectory of growth, it is because of you. It is your need. You have to gallop it. You are the foremost engines to bring it about. Friends, IITians and alumni IITians are a formidable, rich human resource constituting unrivaled think tank that can make immeasurable contribution to further gallop the growth trajectory of Bharat, evolution of governance policies, as also research and innovation. Look around the globe. Can you find a more powerful think tank that can engage in policy making? People from varied sectors with one root, IIT, and they are contributing massively. This group is most impactful. It has to unleash its fullest energy to charge the nation, to take it as the most developed nation when Bharat will be at 2047, celebrating centenary of its independence. Let me, friends, first focus on contemporary scenario. We are in Amrit Kal. On account of phenomenal growth, epochal development, these are not words. This is a ground reality. We have had phenomenal growth on societal factors, on infrastructure. There have been epochal developments. Article 370 to Women Empowerment, Women Reservation Bill. And these have made our Amrit Kal as our Gaurav Kal. And this is primarily on account of affirmative government policies and initiatives and the impactful execution of the vision of the Prime Minister. We have a Prime Minister who thinks big, who has a vision, who is in mission mode, but believes in execution. IIT Bombay will be well suggested that here is a leader of 1/6 of humanity, respected globally at that level, analyze. He lays the foundation stone, inaugurates it. He speaks of a scheme from the Red Fort, translates into a ground reality. And that is why for the first time, we have such wholesome ecosystem in the world for us. World Bank has recognized India, and the recognition came in these words. It has achieved financial inclusion targets in just 6 years, which would otherwise have taken at least 47 long years. And financial inclusion in a country like ours is not easy. To have that kind of bank accounts open for one and all, and very functional. Look at the vision first. If that step had not been taken then, what would have been our situation during COVID? If that step had not been taken then, would be in a position to send our farmers, I belong to a farmer's family, 2,60,000 crores directly to their account. No middleman, no cut, direct. This is empowerment of the people in the last row. That has been achieved. World Bank further says in the midst of lackluster global environment. You know it more than anyone else. It is lackluster. Our own talent that had found a good lucrative assignment outside the frontiers of this country is now trying to come back. And for a very good reason. Because India remains one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Another stellar organization, International Monetary Fund, I had the occasion to interact with the Lady President of IMF on 4 occasions, including during G20. And she hailed India as a bright spot of investment and opportunity, and has predicted that in 2023, India's GDP growth rate will be double that of the global rate. And mind you, we are a very large economy. Such kind of accomplishment for a large economy is not easy. It has come because our people are engaged in work diligently, and our government policies are affirmative. For the first time, we have an ecosystem that allows human genius to blossom. India's resilient financial ecosystem is further strengthened by its inclusive and efficient digital payment system, which is now being adopted in several countries, including Singapore. In 2022, my dear boys and girls, the great students of IIT Bombay, kindly note, $1.5 trillion was transferred through UPI transactions, and this is 46% of the global transactions. And statistically, our transactions happen to be 4 times the combined transactions of US, UK, Germany, and France. Could we ever imagine that our Bharat will be having this kind of accomplishment? 10 years ago, we dared not think about it. This has been brought about because India's rise is like a plateau. It is not pyramidal, and that is why this achievement. My dear boys and girls, we Indians have a strong DNA of learning. We may have a teacher, we may not have a teacher. We turn out to be éclavé. We adopt a skill very quickly. We have knowledge, maybe lacking education. I go to the rural masses. And that is why you will see this has been made possible. The earlier achievements that we are 4 times US, UK, France, and Germany. This has been made possible by thriving ecosystem of more than 850 million smartphones and internet users, which is more than the population of Europe, much more. Our per capita mobile data consumption, mark my figures, per capita data consumption is more than that of US and China taken together. This speaks volumes. Along with digital infrastructure, India's impressive world-class physical infrastructure is adorning the country's landscape. Don't go far. Don't go into the highways that have been built, airports that have been built. Go for last 3 months. We had inauguration of the new parliament building, a world-class building. During P20, we had G20. P20 is a part of G20, that is Parliament 20. Everyone was stunned, amazed. India, 1/6 of humanity, the largest democracy on the planet, is having such a wonderful new building to house both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Technologically equipped. The moment you will step into that building, you will see technology right from day one, right from the doorstep. I take the opportunity with the kind permission of the management here. I invite your students to visit Parliament as my guest in batches of 50. Come to Delhi as my guest. there will be only one rider, because there was a time when there used to be one girl for 10 students in IIT. That number is increasing. I would insist on gender parity. Am I right? Then secondly, where did we have our G20? Bharat Mandapam, one of the top 10 convention centers in the world. And we had P20 in a larger infrastructural base, Yash Bhumi, much larger than Bharat Mandapam also. This has happened. Phenomenal growth story of India's social infrastructure has contributed to historic evolution in women upliftment and women development. This is not easy, and this is vital. It is quintessence of any equitable development in any society. Justice has to be meted out to half of humanity. We have taken a great lead, and this has been taken not in having an enactment. I'll come to that later on. 11 crore toilets built under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Imagine the kind of dignity that has been imparted to our mothers and girls in the villages. Now every house is having a toilet. No one could think about it that in a country like ours, the government will so heavily go for it. It is a ground reality. 9 crore gas connections. Gas connections are all over. These gas connections are those that have been given by the government free of cost to empower our women who were suffering with tears in their eyes because they did not have gas connection. 9 crore, my dear boys and girls, have been given. Imagine what a big change has taken place. 9 crore piped drinking water, Har Ghar Jal. I am from a village, lived at a time when there was no water, no electricity, no road. School was primary. In class 6, I had to go 6 kilometers to another village. To think of a water tap in the house was beyond my wildest imagination. Ladies used to walk long distance to get water, pitcher on their head, and make life comfortable for the family. The women were suffering. That big change has taken place now. My dear boys and girls, what a moment of pride was there on August 23, 2023, a day which we named as the Space Day. That was the day when Chandrayaan 3 landed on South Pole of Moon, the first country to attain this accomplishment. And mind you, what we do is good value for money also. You know it all more than I do. All of you are working in that direction, and I'm sure you'll have many ideas in your mind. If you talk of ISRO, let people know at large that ISRO has put in the space satellites of which countries? Very advanced countries. Has earned money also for that. Your collaboration with ISRO is known. For one of the particular segments for Chandrayaan 3, I am told, I gather from the discourse a while ago, that your institute was associated. Friends, effective execution of the vision of our leadership would not have been possible without weeding out corruption. Corruption is the greatest enemy of democracy. Corruption impedes the growth of ordinary men. Corruption disturbs the economy of the vulnerable sections of society. Corruption renders that particular segment of society which gets into hopelessness because of corruption. And look what a change has come. There was a time when power corridors were infested with corrupt elements. Nothing was possible without a broker. Boys and girls, power corridors have been thoroughly sanitized. IIT Bombay can verify it. Thoroughly sanitized. There is no trace of corruption now in power corridors. Those who leveraged decision making by extra legal means, that tribe is totally extinct. But what is more significant, it can't revive now. Transparency, accountability are the new norm of governance. Minimum government, maximum governance is the theme which the Prime Minister has put in action. Some people thought we are high and mighty, the law can't reach us. You know, none is above the law. Everyone is accountable to law. But to young, impressionable minds, I'll make one appeal. How do we digest when a system sends a notice to you, you take to streets? A country that is possessed of a robust judicial system, a judicial system that delivers, and it is being led by people who matter in governance. Time for young minds not to observe silence. You are discerning minds. You are not ordinary boys and girls. You are not made way to this place by way of patronage. I do not subscribe at all to what has been reflected in Snakes in Ganges. Some impression entertained in some another institute in the US that admission to IITs are granted on account of considerations other than merit. Each of you here is on account of merit. You have made your way. You have made your way through the hard way, through working to it. And therefore, I would say, the scenario that has emerged will allow you to play on front foot. Cricket का season है. You can play with the state bat. और आजकल तो लेडीज विमेन क्रिकेट टीम भी बहुत अच्छा कर रही है. What do we need as young people? I have been a student myself. I am a product of education. But for good education, I would have been lost in wilderness. I afforded good education because of a scholarship I could get. We need an ecosystem that allows us to fully unleash our talent and potential to realize our ambitions and aspirations. That is the ecosystem we have in the country today. Each of you, when you will step out in the larger world, you may go to a corporate house, but not necessarily. You can emerge as a great entrepreneur. You can make a big difference. And there will be systemic support. Let me give one simple illustration, mudra. Women are more beneficiary of it. It has done wonders. It has discovered entrepreneurship in the Indian womanhood. In the ordinary struggler in India, he has not only employed himself or herself, but also generated employment for others. Friends, our current scenario, you know it more than I do, because by virtue of being students of this great institution, you have to keep abreast of global developments. You are required to know what is happening in other parts of the world. Thanks to your effort and your alumni effort, there's a technological gap between this country and the developed country has narrowed down. It has narrowed down to an extent, I'll tell you later on, that we are leading others. And that is because of your insightful approach. You are attending your work very seriously, you know it. We at this time in the world are on the cusp of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and interact with each other. The discourse initially indicated to this with reference to artificial intelligence. We are really facing a great challenge, which can be a great opportunity or which can be cause of concern. Resolution lies with your thinking minds, convergence of various thought processes amongst you all, led by your esteemed faculty. The world, my dear boys and girls, is near an inflection point in artificial intelligence, arguably one of the most important production shifts since the first industrial revolution. If you go back to the industrial revolution, 1700 and onwards, for the first time the world tested machine can make items. This is next to that only. We are still not sure how artificial intelligence will develop. Concerns have been raised. need for regulatory regime has been highlighted. It has been highlighted by technical leaders all over. But in its scale, scope, and complexity, the transformation ever for next several years will be unlike anything we have experienced before. It will have a huge impact. We all are using now artificial intelligence in our daily life. I use it myself, my staff does it. Institutions such as yours are the crucible that will catalyze big change for Bharat, ensuring its emergence as global technology leader. These days, what matters is how impactful, effective you are in technology. Rest of things will follow. It's the concept, technology, research that matters. Execution can be by ordinary minds. Meticulous execution can be by ordinary minds. But extraordinary minds have to discover by way of research. And that is what you are doing. And I'm sure you will do it very successfully. The changing scenario requires active participation of youth, the subject of the day. It requires your participation. You are pristine minds. You can think big. You can think out of the box. You will find solutions. You will find easy takers in the industry. And that is what you are required to do. You have to ensure tangible and progressive outcomes. It is in this context our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi reflected, this decade is decade. He put emphasis on technology. Friends, it is the time for all us in Bharat, you all, entrepreneurs, policymakers, technologists, to come together and define the policies that will enable the greatest possible inclusive value creation from the next chapter in technology. Technology by itself will not be of consequence. The technology will have to have integration in societal cause, and that is what you people have to bring about. We have to meaningfully engage in togetherness to explore how Bharat can leverage this shift to drive a global step up in public services and our basic standard of living. You will be happy to note, my dear boys and girls, and you did not witness it. Some of us have. In the absence of technology, we had to take leave to deposit our water bill, our electricity bill, to make an application for a passport, to go to apply for a college admission. All that has changed. You have to take it now to the next generation of technological application in service delivery. It is soothing to note that the visionary leadership of our country has already taken firm, far-sighted steps towards building our prowess in cutting-edge research and embracing disruptive technologies. What I'll be telling you next 3-4 minutes concerns you. It doesn't concern ordinary youth. It concerns that youth which is positioned in IITs, has the benefit of enormously committed and talented faculty. From quantum computing to 6G technology, artificial intelligence to cryptography, from robotics to space technology, each of these frontiers of technologies possess the power to change the world in the ways we are only now beginning to understand. And we therefore can take lead. It also presents with unique opportunity to universalize and democratize, which is very important because we in this country, on account of thousands of years of civilizational ethos and the motto of our P20, one earth, one planet, one future. That is our motto, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We believed in that. So technological advancement is required to be democratized also, universalized, so that we get the benefit of it. You know it more than I do. Some of the countries are sitting tightly over their technological development. They don't give technology to us. They have weaponized their technological power. We have necessarily to engage with them and pay them for it. Time for us to reverse the trend, and I have no doubt that will be done. Now, National Quantum Mission. Many will not understand, all of you will understand the consequence of it. It has been approved. We are one of the very few countries to have done it. We are the early birds. There is a allocation of 6,000 crores. We are the 7th country. Quantum technology will provide us access to very high computing power. I may not need that kind of computing power given my position. You need it. You need to be really fast. For me, 5G is good enough, not for you. So quantum computing is a big step taken by the Indian government under the visionary leadership of the Prime Minister. This will secure communication capability and enhanced artificial intelligence. And look at in economic terms, quantum computing has potential to contribute 300 billion to our economy by 2030. Not a small achievement. The number of countries that are focused on quantum computing is not even 10. We are in the lead. In line with our commitment towards ensuring healthier planet, and healthier planet concept is in our Vedas, Upanishads. It is part of our Sanskriti. But to secure it, because there is a big challenge at the moment, you know it more than I do. We have green hydrogen mission. This has been launched early this year in January 2023. There is an outlay of 19,000 crores. But what it will do? You will be surprised, because all these actions are that where there will be opportunity for you. Opportunity for you to be part of it, to be entrepreneur, to harness it, to make it impactful. This, our hydrogen mission, is likely to result in renewable energy. I know you know the importance of renewable energy in the context of climate change menace. Capacity addition of 125 gigawatt. Let me put it straight away. 125,000 megawatt will be the impact. Creation of over 6 lakh jobs and rupees 8 lakh crores of investment. You can easily compute the investment part of it, because you know how much investment normally goes for 1 megawatt, with a hydro or nuclear or otherwise. Just imagine, where are we? Most people don't realize the greatest danger which I have seen in this position is that some intelligent minds whom we take as well-meaning capitalize on ignorance of the people. You are discerning minds who have to neutralize them. What a big change is in the offing. Bharat 6G mission envisions to design, develop, and deploy 6G network technologies that provide ubiquitous, intelligent, and secure connectivity for a high-quality living experience worldwide. Now 6G, not many countries are in that format. We are. It's a work in progress. It has been divided in 2 parts. One is 2023 to 2025, another 2025 to 2030. And is focused on, the second part is focused on commercialization. All of you present in this room will have a deep connect on all these agendas. There are not many people in the country who can contribute to these missions. because you need a particular kind of training. You need a faculty that can guide you. You are lucky to be in that category. You now have to take initiative and think out of the box. All of these agendas, my dear boys and girls, can catalyze a quantum jump for our growth story. Institutions like IITs have to gear up and get fully involved so as to realize full potential of these futuristic technologies. But mark one paradigm shift. Earlier we used to wait leisurely. Some country will do it. We will have some MOU. We will pay royalty. We are no longer in that mode. Because our mind is genius, our DNA is very different and in the premium category. The scale, scope, and potential of these bleeding-edge technologies will impact nearly every facet of human life, every facet. We need to work to create a future in which such advanced technologies are placed in the service of humanity with people's benefit as the underlying theme. This is an opportunity to take Bharat to heights it deserves. I'll tell you why in public. Because a country has to be powerful. The best defense is that you are capable of extreme offense. The best deterrence is your ever preparedness for war. Gone are the days when we used to have conventional war details. How strong we are strategically is to be molded, monitored, furthered, and enhanced by the people in this room. The moment you give India a bleeding, cutting-edge technology, our prowess will go up. And that is need of the hour. My dear boys and girls, it is time that India should be in the forefront of seizing these opportunities and steering this dialogue. For who better than the world's largest democracy to help drive the conversation on this critical issue of our times? No country in the world can lay a claim that we can lay. We as a country have never believed in expansion. We have never gone to the step historically to secure somebody else's land. No other country can claim this fame. We therefore have to work for a great national cause that will impact global harmony, peace, and stability. I congratulate IIT Bombay for their focus on research and development in these emerging areas of science and technology. I gather Bombay has set up multiple interdisciplinary research centers of excellence with state-of-the-art facilities. This will not only help bring students and faculty from different departments as well as industry partners together, but will also inculcate in students the critically important approach of problem solving in a holistic manner. It was already indicated when there was a discourse by the senior faculty member. We have to grab it. This is the time, the right time for institutions like IIT Bombay, students and faculty like yours to step up all efforts to help give shape to such technologies. The alumni of IIT Bombay represent a think tank with huge intellectual potential. If I were to calculate the cumulative contribution of IIT alumni to economic value across the planet, that would be an eye-opener. It's a baffling situation for the better. A concerted effort to evolve a federation of IIT alumni so that it acts as a think tank of Bharat, home to 1/6 of humanity, will be highly impactful. I am very passionate about it. Because experience, exposure, and knowledge, when they converge at one place, they fructify into optimal utilization of technologies. Now there is requirement of confederation of alumni of all IIT institutions. If they come together on a platform They share their thoughts, discuss policies that will be extremely enlightening for the budding students of IITs, also for the government. The world is always looking for think tanks. We have a ready-made think tank. We must fully exploit it. I hope some initiative will emanate from this place, IIT Bombay, that there will be a confederation conclave of IIT alumni. I can assure you, as Vice President of the country and Chairman of Rajya Sabha, I will be acting as your foot soldier. Please take the initiative. This will do a great honor to the country. As I told you earlier, friends, as flag bearers and practitioners of cutting-edge technology at global level, I feel that you also have extremely important role to play in the defense and security of our motherland. Just analyze. Security threats are emanating not only from the north, not only from our neighbors, they are emanating on the sea also. They severely impact economic development. For example, let me give you one of the milestone decisions. A turning point in economy was taken at G20 corridor, Bharat, Middle East, and Europe. Economic corridor. To ensure these corridors are safe, we have to be extremely alive to our security preparedness. The days of conventional warfare are long over. Onslaught of technology has resulted in paradigm shift in defense and security. We see it. And let me on a lighter side, technology has really invaded politics also. The conventional mechanism of politics has totally gone down. It is social media, employment of technology, thought processes. You have a great role to play because you are authentic stakeholders in governance. If you find a narrative which is anti-national, a narrative which is ill-founded, a narrative which is meant only to taint, tarnish, and demean our institutions, as intelligent, discerning minds, open up your mind. Trust me, your silence will ever resonate in my ears. Speak up your mind. You can deal with it, you see. If something is happening in an institute of reputation in the US, where only Indian faculty and Indian students decry their own country, that institution has faculty and students from every part of the globe. You have to question them. You can read Snakes in Ganges also. You will find some pages on that institution. Because when our rise is unstoppable, the rise is on a trajectory which is incremental, the rise is stunning the world. Everyone is recognizing the power of Indian Prime Minister. He is a global leader. Never ever we had such kind of a diplomatic prowess in the world as we have now. There are bound to be challenges. And for challenges, again, you are students of physics and technology, Archimedes' principle. Every action, I am told, has equal reaction. Therefore, be prepared. You have to take it up. The entire realm of external and internal security of our nation is now dominated by technology. No country has in isolation of security environment. It is regional or global. Regional and global peace can only be ensured by adequately robust and state-of-the-art deterrence tools and techniques that can be best appreciated by you and your mentors. It was indicated you are in touch with defense. It was indicated. Cutting-edge technology has to be provided by people like you, students like you, ably assisted by distinguished faculty to make available such technology ahead of others to our armed forces. The IITs are the only institutions that can remarkably boost the morale of our valiant security agencies by giving them access to the latest technologies in cyber security, unmanned aerial vehicles, blockchain, remote sensing, geospatial tools, satellite and missile technologies. I'll tell you, boys and girls, I go to several institutions. The issues which I'm adverting here, I can't discuss elsewhere. I can discuss only on a relevant platform, a platform that will absorb it, the platform that will be fired by the current scenario and will be in a mission mode to make accomplishments. And therefore, you are in a country of 1.4 billion, a very select category that alone can address these kind of issues and harness the energy in favor of the nation. Friends, synergetic stance amongst our premier institutions. I reflected about confederation, but now I'm saying about institutions, synergetic stance. They must be synergetic, they must be in sync with each other. Industry and government would wholesomely serve national cause. Let it take a leap from your premises. There will have to be structured mechanism of interaction with these bodies, the state government, the central government, the industry, and institutions like yours. This time, our Amritkal is your time to leave global footprints in research and innovation. The nation has expectations from the youth. Our youth contributes hugely. And that is why you would have seen in September 2022, India took a big leap, became the world's 5th largest economy. From fragile 5 a decade ago to big 5, overtaking UK and France. Next in line for 2030 are Japan and Germany. So youth matters. But this category of youth is very special. It matters geometrically. Your contribution will bring about geometric cutting-edge technology for utilization of our country. You therefore have to do extra work and rise to the expectations the nation has from you as prime movers of Bharat 2047. I'm sure that during our presidency of G20, you would have seen activities all over the country, including your institute. There was G20 footfall in every state of the union, every union territory, 200 meetings, about 60 locations. I had the occasion as vice president to interact with global leaders, leaders in economy. They are stunned. Just to reflect what I said ago, World Bank president saying we achieved in 6 years what is not achievable in 47 years. The statement has emanated from a platform which the world recognizes. The message which you have given to the entire world by Delhi Declaration, many were thinking there will not be unanimous declaration, there were doubts, someone will have a caveat, someone will have veto. Diplomatically, we could negotiate the rough curves, had a Delhi Declaration which got to the core of our value and enlightened the world, one earth, one family, one future. It is heartening to note that IIT Bombay is facilitating the skill upgradation of working professionals under the Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti scheme and helping primary education in the state of Maharashtra by digitization of the public schools in the state. Worthy cause. I commend it. But you have to engage into that also which I have indicated, so that you lead the world. You are all contributing immensely to empowerment of 1/6 of humanity. We are grateful. Your alumni have been extremely impactful. IITs being in this country means a lot to us. Let me share you a small incident. I had a visitor from a country, constitutional functionary. The urge was, can we have IIT campus in our country? The lady was very passionate about it. And that country geographically is situated next to the US. And it was indicated to me that it will afford an opportunity to students from the US also to get benefit. That is your reputation. People want your campus everywhere. My dear boys and girls, you are indeed very lucky. Not only you made your parents very proud when you got into IIT. You became the neighbor's envy. Am I right? Such kind of accomplishment. वो कहते हैं taste of the pudding lies in eating, you tasted it all around. Do you know how jealously people prepare to get into IITs? You are very much here. And therefore, be a part of a setup where you have ample opportunities to unleash your limitless potential. I can tell you in physical terms, your potential is limitless. Your capacity to exploit it is remarkably very high. We just have to do it and do it now. India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and I noticed from the film, you also have about 200 such startups. Today, if you have an idea, you can create wonders out of that, not just for yourself, but for all humanity. Just don't park your idea in your mind. Don't fear failure. Fearing failure is doing injustice to yourself and humanity at large. Success must not be the only indicator. Effort is the indicator. Do it. The Prime Minister said, I quote him, the country is giving you ease of business, while he was talking to IITians. You just work for ease of living of the people of this country, unquote. Prime Minister of 1/6 of humanity had that confidence in you, that what we have given you, ease of business, will help you generate an ecosystem where there will be ease of living for people at large. We are approaching the festive season. My heart pains when in this country we import certain items at the cost of our genius, our labor, our small industry. We import candles, diya, kites, clothes, curtains, furniture, in the process suffer a negative balance of, if I take one country, 100 billion. It is time you as thinking mind, guided by your rich faculty, inculcate a deep sense of economic nationalism. This is at best done by the citizens, the informed citizens, and you are highly informed in that category. We have to generate a climate where we have a deep sense and commitment to economic nationalism. I was reflecting to the Honorable Governor, a man of great experience, how painful it is that our raw materials leave our shores. Can't we add value to our raw materials? Others take our raw material because they can add value. And look at the twin consequences of it. When our raw material leaves our shores, we are depriving our entrepreneurship, job to our people, and indicating we are not capable of doing it. What others can do it, you have to find a way out to it, and I'm sure you will do it. Friends, the nation needs the support of young leaders like you to creating an economic system that supports and sustains our democratic values and our age-old civilization ethos. I'm stunned sometimes. Others arrogate to themselves, calibrating us. Ignore it. No one knows better than us what IIT Bombay is doing. If someone recognizes, fine. If it doesn't, forget about it. We have to rise to a different level when we do not give others to judge us for no cause. Friends, you all are discerning minds, thinking minds. You are the nerve center of progress and innovation. Your journey will be the journey of Bharat towards new milestones. I am coming to a close. Am I right? I will not take more than 3 more minutes. Mahatma Gandhi once said, and I quote the father of the nation, quote, "Education which does not mold character is absolutely worthless," unquote. And what does character require? We must be proud citizens of Bharat. We must believe in Bharatiyata. We must always keep our nation first. We must take pride in our historic accomplishments. And we must do all we can to neutralize unfair anti-Bharat narratives that we should be doing. Friends, boys and girls, you are privileged to be students of one of the most eminent institutions in the country. Let me reveal, I couldn't go to IIT Kharagpur. I was admitted. Still I tell everyone, my most impactful credential was I was admitted to IIT Kharagpur. For reasons which I don't want to spell out here, I couldn't avail it. But now, any student who is admitted will not be in my category. Nothing will come in the way once he or she is admitted to IIT, will certainly avail the facility of IIT. So here is a person at 70, telling you the importance of IIT. I might have several situations where people may load my career, but I find greatest satisfaction. If I ever introduce Mr. Sunil Gupta, it is as being alumni of IIT Kanpur. That impacts all the way effectively the governance. It is time, my dear boys and girls, to avail every conceivable opportunity to engage in research and innovation. We all in togetherness have to deliver change to bring happiness to our people and fast track our country's journey to a developed nation. We can and we will. Am I right? We can and we will. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you for your inspiring speech, sir. Yes. I request our student, Diya Arvind, to please come.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the student community here at IIT Bombay, we have a few questions we would like to ask you, sir. So may I request Harsh Shah to start with the first question?
Come here, come here, come here.
Good evening, sir. Firstly, thank you for the wonderful address to our students. I'm Harish. I'm a third-year undergraduate from the Mechanical Engineering Department. We've been hearing lately that India is transitioning towards becoming a developed country in the coming 20-25 years, and now we have the Viksit Bharat target set by the Prime Minister for 2047. So my question to you is, in these coming 20-25 years, what sectors or industries do you think will be the ones worth investing in terms of infrastructure or technology? That is one part. And are there any unrecognized or say less prominent sectors that you you'll suggest us youth to look out for in terms of, say, blooming opportunities that we might not be aware of yet?
It's a very important question. We are in Amrit Kal. We are laying foundation for Bharat at 2047. Great steps have already been taken. One step I indicated was corrupt elements have been neutralized. Power corridors are transparent and accountable. Number two, an ecosystem that allows every youth to unleash his or her energy to realize potential and talent. Three, for last 3 decades, there were attempts but not successful to give justice to our women. On 21st September 2023, it was an epochal development in the largest democracy on the planet. Horizontal and vertical reservation was afforded to women in Lok Sabha and state legislatures. This is of huge consequence for next 25 years. Women will be playing a stellar role in the growth of this country. This had eluded us for over 3 decades. The Prime Minister took it as a missionary job and attained success. So that's one. Second, I had indicated in my address that we have to harness technology and be techno giants. The Prime Minister calling this decade a decade carries a huge meaning. That's what. We laid a great foundation when after 34 years, we had a new education policy. You are already well settled, so you may not feel the impact of that policy because you are already in a very premium institute. But new education policy is turning out to be a game changer. It allows students to get into skilling and be just not degree oriented. But what is more significant, that has laid a firm foundation of Bharat at 2047, the question asked by him is, we have risen as a nation in the Committee of Nations. Our voice is heard. We are agenda settler now. The world looks up to Indian Prime Minister what he thinks of global issues. Never ever we had that impact of Indian passport which we have now. Being an Indian is a matter of pride when you step out of the country. And look at how enthused our diaspora is. And lastly, we have laid a solid foundation. I said plateau kind of a development, solid foundation, by touching the lives of the people last in the row affirmatively. And that is making available affordable housing to them. They never thought of it. Making available gas to them. Making available to them entire technology which you have in towns. The kind of road infrastructure we are having is amazing. So investment which Bharat has made in infrastructure and technology has ensured a great societal justice to those who were last in the row. And that is why this country has the capacity to take care of food security of more than 800 million people, which will continue for next 5 years. Countries of the world will be baffled to know that there is a country like Bharat which is feeding its people 5 kg of rice and wheat and 1 kg of pulse every month, free of charge. This is Bharat. But all this is a ground laying. You are the strikers of the ball. You have to score the goal. So how far Bharat will go will be determined only by your efforts, by your inclination, by your dedication, by your involvement, by your research, and by your innovation. A very good question.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I would now like to request Rupak Vardhan to ask the next question, please.
And the next question will be from a girl. Am I right?
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you, sir, for this wonderful speech. Myself, Rupak Vardhan, a currently third-year undergraduate from Civil Engineering Department. So my question is regarding the higher education system in India.
Regarding?
Higher education system in India.
Okay.
So currently, I mean, after completing BTech here in India, most of the students likely and preferably tend to go to foreign countries rather than pursuing the higher education here in India. So what are the measures that could be taken to avoid this and make our higher education system better and better than the foreign countries? Thank you.
Well, another very good question, and gives me an opportunity to share my thoughts. First, those who go abroad are not able to compete with you. So you are here, they are abroad. Second, those who go abroad, I am not making general remarks, but by and large, they have parents who can afford it. Third, they go abroad to any institute without knowing anything about it. It has become a societal, reputational aspect. बच्चा लंदन में पढ़ रहा है। मैं पूछता हूँ भैया लंदन में कहाँ पढ़ रहा है? बोला लो पढ़ रहा है। अरे लो छोड़ो, कहाँ पढ़ रहा है? नीचे देखता है। In the process, we are losing billions of dollars. Our gain is not commensurate with the investment which the nation is making. पैसा आपका है, foreign exchange देश का है. We are obligated to optimally use our foreign exchange. I have been saying, if we use our natural resources, we can't say, मेरे पास पैसा है, चाहे जितना पेट्रोल काम में लूँगा, चाहे जितना पानी काम में लूँगा, चाहे जितना एनर्जी काम ले लेंगे. No, we are in trust of our natural resources. We have to optimally use them. Your fiscal power cannot determine. Admissions outside are by and large inspired by families' fiscal power. I don't want to say more on this. It may hurt the sentiments of some. But you are really lucky. You have occupied this by one of the severest, sharpest competition on the planet. When you get admission there, well, you have joy of admission, but not the joy and satisfaction of competition. Secondly, education is the most impactful transformational mechanism to change the society and the man. I see all around some big changes are taking place. Even private sector institutions are doing great. They are offering quality education, and more are in the offing. So India has everything, and everything is in formation. We only have to counsel, advise, and stir the conscience of those who have money in their pocket to use their brains, look for opportunities of education within the country. That will do great good to their students also. Because once they come with that degree of that unknown college and face people like you, so kya hal hai? So awareness, generate awareness. And mind you, if you take to social media, generate awareness, लोग सोचेंगे. वक्त तो लगता है, पर आखिर में सोचना पड़ता है.
Thank you, sir.
I would now like to call upon Shrishti Thakur to the stage.
Yes, beta. You are representing 50%.
Yes, good evening, sir. And first of all, thank you for coming to IIT and thank you for giving me this opportunity. So as you have emphasized in your speech also that number of girls in IITs have increased. But sir, it is far from being 50s to 50 boys and girls ratio. So sir, my question was that what initiatives are being taken to encourage and support the participation of women in STEM fields? And how can we decrease...
What steps have been taken?
To encourage and support the participation of women in STEM fields, science and technology, engineering and mathematics fields. And how can we bridge the gender gap in technical education and research?
Well, we can clap for the rocket woman. Chandrayaan 3 made us very proud. We can clap for our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for having taken economy to that level. We can clap for Smriti Irani. And most important, the largest democracy on the planet has a tribal woman as president. A woman of sublimity. She has seen life from very close quarters. You cannot imagine the kind of challenges she faced. I had the good fortune to be governor along with her. She had been an MLA, I have also been one. She was a minister. I was minister in Delhi, she was in a state. Talking to her, her passion for women is enormous. Therefore, woman-led development, a mission of the Prime Minister, is in full action mode. You can have it. Number 2, I recollect 21st September. Women reservation bill was to be there in Rajya Sabha. There is a mechanism that there is a panel of vice chairman who sit in the chair. I, a chairman, have to sit. My deputy chairperson has to sit. But others I choose who will sit. So about 6 months back, I effected a change that 50% of the panel would constitute women. I effected the change. I am so glad even boys are clapping. But on 21st September, what I did, only women MPs sat in the chair other than 2 of us. We had 17 women MPs, right from P.T. Usha to Jaya Bachchan. They sat. And look at the feeling the women had. The galleries were fully packed only with women and girls. Now, beta, you are part of the Defense Combat Force. Your gender constitutes significant fighter pilots. You are being admitted to Sainik schools. There is no walk of life in which women have not been encouraged. And the most important economic scenario which is changing is Mudra scheme. Analyze someday. It's a huge fiscal volume in billions and billions of Indian rupees, billions. Major beneficiaries are women. Then, Gupta ji will bear me out. I invite women wing of chambers to visit me. I have diversified it from national level to state level. When I look in their eyes, they are real achievers. There was a time in this country when a Sarpanch was elected as a woman, Pradhan was elected as a woman, Jila Pramukh was elected as a woman. कुर्सी पर आकर कोई बैठता था, कलेक्टर साहब पूछते थे भाई आप कौन हो, वो कहता था मैं सरपंच पति हूँ, मैं प्रधान पति हूँ, वो सब चला गया. And let me tell you, this reservation of 1/3 is not limit, it is minimum. Horizontal and vertical reservation for women in Lok Sabha and Assembly is minimal, because for the other 67%, you can wrestle with the male colleagues and get elected. And I have no doubt that there will be constituencies, other than reserved constituencies, where women will be marching ahead electorally and males. So it's much more. Number 2, no country in the world, I say, can take that distinction which Bharat has. When we had a woman in America to be president, what was the refrain? Is America ready for a woman president? That was after more than 200 years. When was it in American Supreme Court that the first woman came to the Supreme Court? 150, 180 years. And look at the big change we have. समय आ गया बेटा, हम लोगों को रास्ता ढूंढना पड़ेगा कि रिजर्वेशन कैसे मिले. Thank you. Boys and girls, it has been a great learning for me. I am leaving this place with a connect. I have already extended an invite to you to visit the Parliament as my guests. We'll have the occasion to interact. A group of 50 is manageable, but 100 is also possible, subject to the management here that can so organize. I'm specifically announcing here that Indian Council of World Affairs, of which I am the chairman, will have an MOU with IIT Bombay. That MOU will be fructified in next 30 days, and you will have the occasion to interact with one of the finest institutes that deals with global issues. In turn, you will also be able to have people from within the country and outside who can have discourse with you. I am grateful for your time and patience also. Thank you.